Hi, Sabrina. Can you hear me?
Yep. That was easy
Very
getting
good.
up here.
Yeah, I'm glad. So, this is Eager. Eager is a group for European Americans to grow and learn. We are deconstructing white supremacy from our lives, funding and promoting anti racism education, and forming a pro humanity community. Welcome on the program here, Sabrina. I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Sabrina runs an organization called Ohio Families Unite Against Police Brutality. It's for the victims of police brutality's family members. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got
Yes.
it.
Anyway, Sabrina and I know each other in real life. I'm actually on their C4 board, so it's a little more familiar than other interviews maybe that we've done. But I'm just glad that you're here. So we had you come on to Eager because we want to hear about Ohio families and let the folks over here know what y'all are doing. So if you could tell us a little bit, maybe about what it is that Ohio Families aims to do.
Okay. Well, I guess I can go a little bit with the background. I started Ohio Families Unite Against Police Brutality in 2018 after my youngest son, Jamarco, was killed by local police here in Dayton, Ohio. From then, I went to network on with families throughout Ohio because I wanted to really reach not just my city, but just all around as much as of Ohio as I could or that I can. Started reaching out to more families and started finding out like really what is it, what type of demands, what are we looking for as directly impacted families who lost loved ones to the police. What do we want, So I started recruiting some directly impacted families to the board, in which Ohio Families is a C3. I started off, with a C3 because we really wasn't doing much, let's say, policy or anything. We really didn't know much. I really didn't know much about that part. I have grown as I, over the years have grown into, all this work around advocacy against police brutality. So a few years ago, I can't even remember the year, I had met Emily Cole and she was working for us on the C3 board about stuff related to policy and, help grant writing and stuff. And we said, hey, let's start a C4. We're like, why not? And that's built around all the policy work that we're doing, that we want to do. Because, as a C3, you can only, I think, do 2% anything engaging in policy work. So the C4 is full. There's no bans, restrictions on how much policy that we can do. So we went ahead and started that. And that itself, the C4 is Ohio Families Unite for Political Action and Change. And I say within a year, that just really took off. We met so many organizations, advocates, people who were all about bringing, positive changes to Ohio that also sit on this policy table. And that it's created a village, like I like to call it on the C4. We have the advocates, organizations, we have attorneys. So it's been great. And when something happens to a family and they need some type of advice or maybe, just to say, I don't understand, what am I doing here wrong? we have somebody with some type of skill set to say, hey, I'll talk to you, I can, maybe help you with your questions and what have you. So it came along so strong, and it's getting stronger. We just want to get more families in Ohio involved. And the reason I keep saying Ohio is because that's where we're at. We're here in Ohio, and as much as I would like to outreach to different states, I feel like that's something to come maybe way down in the distant future, because we got to fix what's here first. Then it go running back out somewhere else to say, hey, this is how you do something. So we're trying to get things fixed here first. So, and we want families to join us to get involved. Next year, we're going to start training and stuff for families that want to be able to speak out, go to the state house or write letters and, just have their voice heard. A lot of people think, oh, I don't know anything about that, how politics work. And I didn't either, but I grew into learning. And I'm still learning. Got a lot more to learn. It's a process, but if your heart is into it and you really do want to see these changes, you'll get involved. Even the families that don't really, don't feel comfortable speaking, they can say, hey, can you speak for me or something? Sure, we can, tell us what you want to be told, but just show up. You could just show up.
What's been the most challenging part of turning your pain and frustration into power to organize a movement?
Keeping my mind busy from the very beginning, because this happened to my youngest son Jamarco in 2017, but I've been advocating in the community since 2013, when my middle son was killed from gun violence. And he was 22 when he was killed. So it was like I was already in this work, but to just to be thrown into another direction, and regardless, it's to the point where it was just like, okay, something else got to be done. We do, like on the C3 side, like events, go out to the communities, try to uplift the communities, get the communities to interact with each other on some type, a love of the neighbor, love of thy neighbor. And we try, have free food. We have people come out, set up tables with resources, community resources. We have people speak, entertainment, this stuff for kids. But, that when I've noticed through the years that after you pack up and you leave, it's so much, it comes to out of sight, out of mind. You enjoyed yourself that day, this, that, and the other, and appreciated it, but it wasn't getting them to the polls. It wasn't getting them to get involved in the advocacy of it. I used to get real frustrated a lot and tell people, when I used to speak, and I used to speak a lot, and I used to get so discouraged, and I would be standing there, and I'm looking at people, and I'm like, y'all don't get it. We're out here for you now. Ours are gone. We're out here trying to make these changes so your family don't get affected from this. Right. Which is true. I mean, that's a lot. People don't understand. It's a lot of trauma coming out all the time, speaking your stories, and listening to other stories. So it's like, what is it that you're not getting? The reason that we're out here. And it's just so plain and simple, because all we want to do is keep other people from they losing a loved one, because this destroys families when you lose loved ones. And so many families are destroyed. So much trauma is in the community. And we're just trying to, if it's one, two people that actually say, hey, I want to do something. Hey, yeah, I want to know my rights. Yeah, this, hey, if it's just something positive come out of it, then we did our job, I guess. But just, I believe with the C4 part of the organization, OFUPAC is what we call it for short. It's really, that's what's going to bring the changes. We speak with politicians all the time. Even the Republicans,
Yep.
I mean, hey.
Sometimes those are the most fun.
Yeah, aren't they though? You already know. You be sitting on those meetings.
Yes, you go into it and
and sometimes you
got an idea.
Sometimes you got to bite your tongue a little bit, just,
You're right.
But
You're right
a lot of
about
times, like Emily called me ahead of time. She's the executive director of OFUPAC, and she'll say, Sabrina, well, I got this meeting set up with us with such and such and such and such state rep, and you're not going to like what their views are on stuff. So I'm just giving you, say, hey, you don't have to come to that meeting, which she's hoping that I don't,
Right.
I said, okay. So I'll say, okay, Emily, I'm not going to come. Okay, I know, because you know me. As soon as hear something I don't want to go, I'm going in. So, all right.
Yep.
Yeah, so I appreciate that part. Like, I know when to stand down.
So, the name of the organization is Unite Against Police Brutality. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis for you and the other family members?
On a day-to-day basis, it's just constant. For me, I know it's just... some parts I know is constant work, which I don't mind because, like I said, I like to keep my mind busy. I don't want to sit around and think too much,
right,
about this or the situations. Because being in this work, you're constantly I get a lot of emails from people with what's going on and their stories and stuff, and it could be triggering, but just, going to work, like giving them the advice, because when it, like, I know, like for all of us, when it first happens, something like that, you lose a child or loved one and you don't know what to do. You don't know what's coming in the days to come. You're in this fog. You don't understand what's going on. People are at you. I hate to say this, but for some reason if it's a big case, we have what you call clout chasers that want to be in the media. And so they're, want to act like they your best friends. They're at you trying to get you to do this or that. Then you got attorneys that, I say ambulance chasers, that's trying to get you signed on a dotted line even before you even bury your loved one, which is crazy. So you're just getting pulled in a lot of directions and don't know what's happening with the procedures. So we try to hope that we can get to those families before everybody else can, to let them know, hey, let's talk, I want you to watch out for this, and this is what's gonna happen. As far as the police are gonna get a 2-week paid administrative leave. So, then you have to say, hey, then you got to work, wait to see if the prosecutor is gonna indict, which 9 times out of 10 are not. It's just about setting them up to know what's to come. And hopefully to keep them shielded from them people that don't mean them any good, that will take advantage of them at a time like that.
For sure, and it happens every time. There's never anyone isn't touched by that. Yeah. So if there's young folks watching here and someone they know experiences police brutality or they do themselves, what are some first few steps you would advise them to take?
Who, you know what? That is such a hard question because, well, a hard way to answer. We used to say, just comply, don't run. Everybody's that used to be the thing to say, but it's I hate to say it, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't.
It
If
really is, isn't it?
you know they run because they scared, but they still want to shoot at you, and but say they're in fear of their life. If somebody running from you, how are they in fear? How are you in fear
Right.
of your life? You should be the
That's
one running.
insanity.
You should be the one running too, or something. And I know one thing for sure though. If you're ever driving and you're in an area that there is nobody out there, some type of dark road, whatever, try your best to don't speed, but just keep riding till you're in an open area. Um, don't be on that, pull over on that dark road and no witnesses and, you know, that I
Yeah.
would not, I wouldn't dare tell somebody to do. I'd be like, no, just drive regular and keep getting somewhere till you see people and cars and, that at least, I'm not going to say that that's, um, a, all the way secure, but it's better than just being out there and there's nobody to see what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
So, like,
to say not to run is, like I said, it's a crazy question because sometimes if you don't run, I know there's been people that seen cases like, "Whoa, you should have just ran, took off." They be alive, or it's vice versa. Oh, you shouldn't have ran, or
yeah,
you be alive. I mean, when has it come to that time where even if you run, ain't that what we used to play as kids? Cops and robbers, you run after them. You know, you chase
yep,
them and catch them.
right,
They don't got, to the crazy. They like, shit, I ain't gonna chase you. I'm gonna shoot you. Yeah, I'll shoot you first.
right. They're not going to play around.
Yeah.
Could Ohio Families Unite Against Police Brutality be a good first place for someone who has experienced police brutality to come to for some guidance?
I believe so. And if you're in Ohio,
Hmm.
every state is different. Here in Ohio, I believe we truly are. It's not, we don't, I mean, on our C3 side, it's more humanizing your loved ones.
Yes, support.
Not them people that you saw on the news, how the
Right,
news made your people look like they should have been killed. The news is
right.
police friendly. They're gonna make them look bad, as if they
Hmm.
deserve that to happen to them. So that's a lot of what we do on the C3 part, is to try to, make sure everybody know, hey, this was a human being who had family.
Right,
What they say on the news, they didn't know them. They did not know them. Not only that, we are a extended family. What do you need? I don't care if it's 4 or 5 in the morning and you need to scream and holler. Give me a call. I'll listen. We'll listen. Just whatever you need that you can't get from somebody who don't understand, like your own family.
hmm,
Um, they everybody's grief is different, and you might not just be able to, like with my family, like it was with my daughter. It wasn't. I couldn't see adding more onto her, me screaming or crying or anything, because she was already devastated and going through it. So of course I wasn't going to. I was going to listen to her and be her sounding board and whatever she needed, but I didn't feel like it was right for me to put that on her. So I'm like, I don't have anybody else to talk to about that or this, that, and the other. I didn't know any other families or mothers or anything like that who I could talk to, you know. And this is what this is. This is a whole like extended family that unfortunately we are part of. It's like a club that nobody wants to be in. But we understand, and we want to just make sure that we hold, just hold each other down, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
because this is a whole lifelong situation where you don't know who you are or going to be the next day or the next day after that. And what I mean by that is like, you live in a whole different world now where this person that you used to seeing every day, talk to every day, they're no longer around. You don't hear their voice no more, you know. So you have to learn to adapt to this new life. It's like, I mean, you could wake up and maybe be okay tomorrow, but the day after that, you're freaking out all over again and screaming and hollering. And it's like I said, it's just something different every day, especially if you get triggered. It's so much that triggers you, especially if I don't watch the news anymore. It's so much going on, and people are steadily every day. All you hear is about how the police are just killing people, and it's frustrating. And what I don't like is how people watching seems to like this is normal now.
Yeah.
This should be nothing normal about peace officers who are supposed to protect and serve the communities out here destroying the communities.
Yeah. Agreed. So, like many folks here, when in regards to police brutality, feel kind of powerless. Beyond protesting, what are some concrete ways people in Ohio, specifically, can support your cause and push for accountability?
Well, like we got a website, Ohio Families Unite Against Police Brutality.com. You could go on there and, or you could email us to get in touch with us. We always have something that people can do if they want to, even if it's canvas or write a letter or, something like that, or just come and join our policy table and see how we're doing, on trying to do legislative changes. And if you really just want to be a part of making that change, just being supportive with the families, even with the people who we have a lot of people on our table that is not family members. They're just people that want to help. I mean, and it just shocks me so much. And I'm going to tell you why it shocks me. What shocks me the most? All them people the ones that are not impacted, that's a part of our organization and our organizations, and that are just a part of volunteering and being on that policy table and stuff. What gets me, and I hope nobody takes this wrong, but it's not my own people of color. These are white people who truly stand with us. Something I've never been used to that. To see white people who stood with us, would fight with us, for changes, and from their heart, they're just doing and helping and whatever we need type of stuff. That's part of the village. I mean, I was so shocked in the beginning from this, and I took a while for me to kind of engage and get comfortable with it. And they just like the closest people to me now. Like, wow, and I grew up around with my grandmother, and she always, she grew up in the South, and always told me about what the white people did to her and stuff like that, and you know, how mean and vindictive they can be to people of color and stuff. So when I was growing up, I seen a little bit of it, but I mainly heard about it from my grandmother. But when something like this happened, to see them actually stand up and speak up, that was the world. Like, it still to this day, it still means so much to me that I can't say it enough.
I love you.
I love you too, Vix.
So, in your view, what is the single biggest barrier to achieving real police accountability and justice in Ohio?
Them damn old ass politicians though don't ever want to leave.
I know that's right.
Man, they could be 100 and they still trying to block progress. I tell you, them the ones. Though that's what. Ooh, that part. that part. Yeah, that part. And something too, like I've learned over the years. I always thought, well, I'm gonna vote for the black guy or the black lady, because I know they mean the best for us. And let me tell you, that is not true. You vote for who has similar values that you have, and that are looking to make progress in all this wickedness, this evil. And most of the times, unfortunately, now, all you doing it, you're voting for the lesser of evil. That's what I call it. Well, who's less than evil than the other one? Put it like that. And it's like, oh man. So, I had somebody reach out to me, I think about a week ago, and was like, hey, why don't we get together and talk about getting some people together, some young people together, to see what they, how they feel about politics, and, answer your questions about what if they did want to run for office, and what type of tutoring they think they need for something like that, or, and I was like, yeah, that sounds real great.
Yeah, for sure. So when we're talking about police, some of the arguments that we get are, oh, it's just a few bad apples. How do you respond to that argument?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
So a lot of times when we're talking about police accountability, we'll hear folks say, well, it's just a few bad apples. How do you respond to that argument when your
I'm so glad you asked.
Points to more? Thank you.
I'm so glad you asked. So this is how I feel like it. I feel like, because they say, yeah, like you say, oh, they're not all bad, and they, okay, yeah, they're not all bad, but if you work around these, you're a part of the good old boy club, and you work around them, just because you're not actually doing it or engaging in it, but you're watching it, you're just as bad as they are, because you're not speaking up about it. Period. So just because you didn't put that bullet in them, just because you didn't stump them out or choke them, but you stood there and watched, you're just as bad as they are. Period.
Yeah. Serge is saying, what's the rest of the poem? And it says that it spoils the whole bunch. That's the rest of the poem.
Yeah, and that's where I have so much respect for Melissa McFadden.
Me too.
That used to be a part of the Columbus Police Department. I have the utmost respect. I don't have no respect for no police officers but her. We always talk about, families, and, well, we need people in the police department to speak up, this, that, and the other. Well, not only did she speak up, and she was writing up reports about these badass cops, she wrote a book on their ass. Period.
And named them all.
Named them all. So what she did was that put her and her family in jeopardy.
It sure did.
Put their lives in jeopardy for her to step out and do that. And
she kept her job.
And she still went to work. Yeah. you know, she's not only was that, she's also an attorney, you know, has her law license.
And she's
but
expunging records for free.
now that's what she asked us, you know, when she came out to our last event, as you know. And before I saw her, we were on Messenger texting back and forth, and I was like, well, why are you doing this? And she said, because I want to get back to the community. I said, what? I said, damn, I think you've given enough.
No shit. Go sit down somewhere, lady.
Well, I think the community needs to be giving to her.
No doubt.
That should be switched around. They need to be giving to her. You know,
she put herself on the line.
Yes, she did. I mean, that right there, I was like, this is not something she can never stop looking over her back from.
Right. Ever.
And she doesn't get enough. She doesn't get enough accolades or acknowledgement for that. Period.
She doesn't have enough security for that. I can tell you that.
No, there can never be enough security for that.
Never.
You know.
Never.
You know. But yet and still, we asked about those type of people, and there she is, and
there she is,
and yet
and
still,
I embrace her every time I see her.
But yet and still, you don't see that, like, the community, like, behind her.
Mm-mm.
But don't get me wrong, that's because a lot of people don't know.
That's true.
A lot of people do not know. And every time I speak or share, you know, think about that type of question, that she just automatically comes to mind, and I want to speak of her.
Mm-hmm. It's a book that I recommend to eager members. That her book is called A Thin Black Line. So if any of you want to learn about Melissa McFadden, that's the book. Specifically, Ohio Families Unite, like both organizations together. Y'all have been working toward some policy changes. Do you want to talk to us about the specific policy changes that you and the families are advocating for right now?
We advocate for a lot. Not just police brutality, you know, prison reform, criminal reform, all type of stuff. Whatever somebody comes up and say, hey, can we get your support in this? Like, oh, of course, you know, but right now, like, we just, like, Vicky, you know, we just had a win with, Governor DeWine here in Ohio had to sign off of it because, hey, the people was like, a lot of people don't know it's true about police quotas.
Mm-hmm.
It's true thing, and a lot of people,
we got them banned.
Huh?
We got them banned.
Yeah, they had to, he had to sign that out. No more police quotas for now until they find a back door to wiggle it back in, which most likely,
or we find out that they were doing it anyway.
Yeah. And then we're
working, like
that
fleeing felon law.
We're working with a state rep here in Ohio out of Cleveland, Rep Brewer, and he said, hey, you know, just I'm all for what y'all do. Until I term out, let's work great together. And we like, cool, all right. Yeah. And so we're working now. We're on a piece of legislation for automatic, mandatory, drug and alcohol substance. I mean, oh God, drug and
alcohol screenings.
Yeah, screenings after the police involved incident. And a lot of
the police officers.
Yeah, for the police officers. And a lot of people in Ohio don't understand that this is not mandatory. It's up to the police chief and whichever jurisdiction or station they're in that can say, hey, well, no, we're not doing this, or we will do it, which is like, yeah, okay, but some of them will actually go days, 3 days or something before they test their
2 weeks sometimes.
Yeah. And it's like, really? So it's not mandatory. And this is what we all discussed, you know, in the group at the policy table. Like, this is freaking common sense. You got bus drivers, factory workers, hospital workers that got to go straight to that lab when something happens. An accident happens, they got to go to that lab and get tested.
Yes.
But a police officer who walks around with a deadly weapon don't have to?
Right.
Come on. Make shit make sense. Because that don't make no damn sense to me. So he's been working with us on that, and don't want to get too far into details, but yeah, within I think we were talking about Vicks. Within 3 hours?
It was like 3 or 6 hours. I can't remember.
3 to 6 hours to take that test, and then you have to deal. It's so much that you have to deal with on like legislation and stuff, especially like then FOP and stuff like that come back with a push like, well, what if the officer is taking medication for this or this, that, and the other? So now you have to kind of break down what type of pills. What type of pills is sufficient for them to even be out there on that type of dang on pill or whatever? Because it just they push. They're gonna push. FOP is like they're the biggest gang in America. They are scary to work against. It is real scary to work against them. They're going to protect and serve their own
themselves.
Yes. They even had the nerve to say, "Well, that's making our police officers look bad." No, it looks bad that y'all haven't done it. You know, right. So it's a lot. Brewer had to go through a lot. Rep Brewer went through a lot of conversations just for us to get this pushing. So
and it's dangerous for him too.
Yes,
just like it's dangerous for you.
Very much
to be going out up against the police. So speaking of that, how does the movement address the mental health and trauma? Not just for victims, but for the entire community, even within the police force?
Well, I ain't even worried about the police force part, but
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
So excuse me if I don't answer.
I always bring that up, though. Because we always talk about. They always say they love the police, but they're not taking into consideration their mental health.
Yeah, because a lot of these police officers come from the service. They get out the service and become police officers, and they have a lot of mental baggage from coming from war and all this stuff. So it's just like, really, there go another one. Common sense, like. Don't you think you need to have them evaluated first and this, that, and the other?
Right.
But it's not being funny because they was over there to protect and serve the country, but to go through seeing so much of that and then come back home on U.S. soil where it's not a war going on like that, where they've seen people blown up, and that's a lot, Can they out there in the community and anything triggers a noise, somebody being combative in an argument, and it's a lot to that. But as far as the mental health part, like when people, especially people that are having mental health emergencies themselves, out in the community, and only thing they know how or who to call is 911. And 911 sends out the police officers, and the police officers are coming aggressive, and they didn't go to school for mental health.
Right.
They are not trained to deal with people that are having a mental health emergency.
Right.
So what they do is so many people out here who have called the police, or their family or friends has called the police on them because they're having a mental health emergency, and the police come out. What happens? It ends up in death.
That's facts.
It's such a it's so crazy. It's sad. Then the families get to blaming themselves if they the ones that called because they don't know who else to call.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't call them so that these police officers could come and kill them.
Right.
They called for help, you know. So that's why on our C4 side, OFU in Columbus, they're going it's called the Community Safety the Safety Collective, Columbus Safety Collective. And our C4 is a very big part of that. It's going to be a ballot initiative on alternative response calls. And they're really working, like Chana Wiley, her brother, Jerron Thomas, he called the police years ago. He called the police to get help for himself because he was having a mental health emergency, and he ended up dead. So his sister has taken the lead to this ballot initiative, so they don't send the police out here. Some places have an alternate number besides 911, but a lot of people don't know about it, and it's either not big enough to be really helping yet, but it's not really helping yet, I guess to say. I can't even think of it, 988 or something like that. But people's automatic response is 911.
Right.
And when 911, when you hit that, that means the popo's coming. The popo's is coming, about the people pulling up.
Yep.
Despite all of these, we also had, like, last year, was it, where they were trying to lower the age to, 18?
18,
To become a police officer? Like, what? So you say as soon as they come out of graduation, they can just roll right to the police station and, sign up. Like, okay, what is the pros and cons of that? That's because they have such, low, accounts for police, because a lot of people have quit because of all the backlash police are getting. People are not wanting to sign up to be a police officer. But if they said, okay, 18 years old, if you're 18 years old, hopefully, a lot, all you go through in high school, you're carrying a lot of baggage out of that too. What if you were bullied? You're going to come out now, you want to be the bully. And you get to carry your gun. It's just so much but we got that flipped.
Yes.
So
we've had a lot of wins actually.
Yeah, and the only disappointment is when you get this, it's like you take a step up and take two steps back, because they always come back with another bill that has that type of stuff into it, amended to it, and it's like, dang, here we go again. They find ways to slide it in the side door to make it active again.
Yes. So despite these challenges, what gives you hope and keeps you going through this fight?
The fighting, that keeps me going. That keeps me going. I quit every day in my mind. I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm done. I ain't doing this shit no more. The hell with this. What am I doing it for? I'd be trying to talk myself into quitting. Why are you doing this? Ain't nobody else trying to help themselves? Why y'all? And I'll be like talking to myself, you right. Like, why am I doing this shit? The hell with this. And it's like maybe 30 minutes later, then I'm over it. Like, okay, back to work.
You just had a little temper tantrum. It's fine.
Pretty much, pretty much. And I, through these years since, 2013, like I said, when my middle son Jamal was killed, and I had lost faith in in my God and this type of stuff, and it took me a long time to understand, or to get an understanding of why I'm in this position of this type of work. This is the way how I feel about it anyway. Everybody got their own gods or higher faiths or whatever, but I look at it like it's so much of this was going on, and he said, you know what, I'm going to take yours, protect them, bring them with me, and you stay down here and fight. And that's how I look at it.
That's really powerful. So, what is your ultimate vision for a relationship between Ohio communities and the police? What does a safe and just Ohio look like to
you? Shit. That's something for me, that's something I know I won't see in my lifetime, but I envision bringing more of the people in the community to be the peace officers, those there to protect the communities. If you live in that community and you want to then protect your community, become the police officer in your community. And I think that's important, hey, like, I guess maybe back in the day that I wasn't a part of, but they said hey, officer such and such, how you doing today? Hey, everything okay? Yeah. Some of that type of protect and serve, like it was built to be. And I think that comes within the community, if you stay in these certain, especially these low income communities, and you see how your community is just breaking down, it's like, hey, I want to do something, to, protect and make sure our community is not getting harassed by the police officers that come in there each day. But the only way we can set that in motion is to get these other officers out first. Right. And that means by changing laws. Because believe me, when stuff changed with police officers, like qualified, if they in qualified immunity, you're going to see a lot of police officers quitting. Mm-hmm. Accountability and all that type of stuff. Once they find out that they could be held accountable, they out of there so quick. Right. But right now, there's no accountability going on. They still get to do what they want to do. Even like when we say people getting pulled over, and what's the best thing to do? Even now, even if you comply with everything they do, pull over, show them your license and registration and stuff, you still come out. A lot of people have come out dead behind it just because whatever reason, that officer, what bad happened to him in his life or that day or what he went through, because you say, let me see your, what is your badge number? I ain't telling you shit. They'll tell you, they don't care about all that. They don't care about, they feel they're the law, and that's all that matters. When they're supposed to give you their badge numbers or their names, and they look at you like you got two heads. Mm-hmm. It's awful. You've seen it. You be out there in them trenches, so you already know. I already know.
Can you tell the audience what qualified immunity is?
Oh, I am not the best at explaining.
I can do it.
Okay.
I can do it. So qualified immunity protects our elected officials and police officers from accountability when they violate our civil rights. And right now in Ohio, there's a signature collection to get qualified immunity on the ballot so that we can decide whether we want that or not. Um, so if you're in Ohio and you're looking at signing for a petition, you know, you can even hit me up and I can get you in touch with the people you need. So we really want to
Yeah.
get this on the ballot, and all we have to do is get the signatures. There's an injunction on our attorney general because they would not stop messing with this. So now we just need the signatures, and it'll be on in 2026.
Yeah, and I would advise, the people on here, if you don't know and you haven't heard about qualified immunity, Google it, look it up, and it goes back to a time, way back in a time in civil rights where that was actually meant for us, the black people, people of color. And of course, the police took that and ran with it, So
And that's why our struggles are connected, because if we let it happen to someone else, the chances that it's going to come back on us is pretty great. It boomerangs.
Yeah, and you see how they did that. The one law, and they used it when Takesha, what's it? Takesha Young. Takaya Young got killed. And what did the police do? What did the police do? The officers, so they didn't have to say, they didn't have to they didn't have to tell us, the police officers, and they didn't have to do any of that because they used Marsy's Law.
Yes.
That was built for what?
Domestic violence survivors.
Victims of crime. Yes. Domestic violence people. And they
to protect them.
And they used that for them.
They sure did. They keep doing it.
And it actually they actually keep using it. Like, wow. How, like I said, common sense shit, dumb shit, it's all just a bunch of shit at the end of the day. And until, like I said, we got to get these old politicians out of office, get people in there that want to be in there, that want to see changes. We got to play chess. We can, we cannot play checkers.
Absolutely.
These people been playing since they made the Constitution. That was one of the first plays of chess, and it's still to this day. Like, wow. Because like people say, always complaining. Hey, you know what? The Constitution, it just ain't right. It ain't. No, it is right. It just ain't right for us. They didn't mean that. They didn't mean that for us. Now, come on, you got to think about it.
They wanted it to be.
Exactly.
They wanted it to be that. It just wasn't supposed to help you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So can you tell us where we can all follow you on social media?
Yeah, you can catch me. I got a Facebook group page on Facebook. It's Ohio Families United Against Police Brutality. I'm on. Don't follow me over here on TikTok. I gotta actually make me a TikTok page, because I just be doing goofy stuff on TikTok. That's probably why I'm on. If you look on here, you'll see me under my name down here under Lion Queen. So
I love it.
Yeah. And like I said, our website is Ohio Families United Against Police Brutality.com. Our email is OFUA Police Brutality @gmail.com. If I got some other handles, we have a YouTube page as well. It hasn't been updated in a while. I'm gonna have to get to that, but right for now, this is pretty much it. Oh, and we're on Instagram, Ohio Families United Against Police Brutality.
And also OFU PAC, you can find that OFUPAC.com and OFU PAC on as many social medias as you can find.
Oh yeah. So yeah. And OFU PAC, we have an OFU PAC here on TikTok. We have it on Instagram. So yeah, pretty much on every most social media platforms, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all the questions that I had. Does anyone in the comments here have any questions for Sabrina?
I didn't know you were like something like a journalist, Vix.
I'm not.
You're
I'm just
like
winging
you
it,
could
friend.
be a daytime host.
I'm just winging it, my friend. I'm just winging it. You know me,
Well,
I'm about jumping to do anything if I can.
well, I appreciate you having me on.
Of course. I appreciate you coming. And I just want to remind folks that half the battle of doing anything is just showing up. I think
Exactly.
that's a big thing. It's like whenever people show up, it really means something. So when these organizations are doing work in the community, show up, talk to them.
Yeah, because that shows power, and that's one thing politicians are afraid of when they see all these people show up. You know, because they know they're supposed to be
They're
working for
watching.
us, but they don't act like it. But they
Mhm.
show up and come together, and just on a big broad range. You know that really puts some fear in them. So just you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to speak, but like showing up just shows engagement and it shows power and strength.
It sure does. I appreciate you being here, Sabrina, and I wish you you know much success, and I will be there by your side as long
Oh
as
yeah,
you'll
I
allow
already
me.
know. Yeah, you definitely, you know, like anytime. I would love to come on anytime. And maybe next time you get Emily to come on, and because
I'd love that.
she's real great at breaking all this stuff down. I'm not the best at breaking it down, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, she can really get in here and break it down, and she's so awesome at it. So
yeah. I would love to have Emily out there. I'd love to have Tanya and Shauna too.
oh,
We
you
need to,
definitely
and you know who
yeah.
else? What's his name? Spencer. That
Oh,
would be
yeah.
great.
Whoo, that girl, they look. Don't
They're not ready for Spencer.
look. What you need to do is make a panel for Spencer, Emily, China, you know, Lauren, and you know, have them
I
all
love
up
it.
on there. Have them all
Yeah, that'd
up
be
on
great.
there, and boy, people going. I think that would just really just people would be like, wow,
Yeah, we've
this is
got a
what they doing.
powerhouse of a board for sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you should think about
Now,
that one. I
Spencer's with
love that
the
myself.
ACLU. Yeah,
Patrick,
Spencer's with the ACLU. Patrick's with
no,
which one
Patrick's
is he
with the
with?
ACLU.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Which one?
Spencer is just a criminal. He's a criminal defense attorney.
He's a defense attorney. That's right. I had him
Yeah,
mixed up.
yeah,
Yeah,
badasses. All of them are
yeah, they all
badasses.
are badass.
All of them are badasses in their own right.
They sure are. Well, I appreciate you being here, Sabrina, and I hope to have you back real soon. You have a good night, and I appreciate y'all for being here.
Thank you.